We're live, so.
Okay. Is the sound on?
Not yet. All right. Sound is good.
The sound is good. Is that good? So let me ask you a question. Thank you very much. Would you rather be outside on what might be the nicest remaining day of the warm weather, spring, summer, whatever it is, or would you rather be sitting in a chat room with Dad's the Premier, James Caprion, Roto Lady, the Legend, whatever? I'd rather be in the chat room. All right. What about you? Okay. So welcome aboard, everybody. It's not. Still got a minute or so before 9 o'clock, and the chat room will fill up. At least one or two more. What do you think, Andy?
Yeah. I say we just do a quick show today and get out to the sunshine.
All right. Quick show. Maybe not a quick show. Because if enough people show up today, we will announce the possibility of something new. Okay? Something new that everybody... now it's Unholy Toledo.
And Scooter and Tilly.
And there you go. So now we're ready to go.
Which dogs do we have in the audience today?
We're ready to go with Unholy Toledo, okay? Sitting outside in the chat room.
Love it.
And that's the way
Hope you're having a cup of Joe. Right, Leonard?
A what?
A cup of Joe.
What's Joe?
Joe is coffee.
Oh, it is? How did it become coffee?
I
Joe.
have no idea, but it's called a cup of Joe, and that's what they call it. And Laura's here. Great to see Laura back.
What's a Lenny?
Do you have to be included in everything?
Everything. It's sitting outside in the chat room.
You're going to sit outside, right?
Are we ready to go?
I make Lenny sit outside all day. I don't let him come in the house.
Is it 9 o'clock yet?
Because he causes too much messes.
Come on, man. What time is it?
It's 9 o'clock, bitch.
Okay, welcome aboard, everybody, on a lovely Sunday morning. And we are ready to go with James Caprion sitting outside.
With a cup of Joe.
With a cup of Joe. Who else is outside with
Laura.
a cup? Who else?
Laura's here. Chris
Laura's
Gallo.
here.
Saw your
right.
great pictures on Facebook, Gallo.
There you go. Chris Gallo and Laura and Leonard Donaldson
and Turd
made his appearance. Now Turd. And now we are absolutely ready to go.
So what happened in the game yesterday? Did OU lose to Tulane? Or, I'm a little updated on college football, Leonard.
Oh, I don't know.
And did Wisconsin and Alabama? What happened there?
That was supposed to be a blowout.
So
right?
somebody should update me.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't check the college scores for obvious reasons because we don't really do a lot of college.
What you doing over there?
I'm trying to get the other computer going.
I'll keep up with the chat room if you want.
Because I'll tell you, we've got a big surprise.
Well, we're going to do a contest, right, Leonard?
Well, we noticed how much everybody's Elmo was here. Good morning. Yes. We noticed how excited everybody gets with our Genius of the Day questions. So now, each month, we're going to keep track of who gets the correct number of answers.
Of the Geniuses of the Day. And we're going to keep tally of the Geniuses of the Day answers. And we're going to keep tally for about a month or so, or two.
No, maybe just a month. That's
okay,
it.
We'll do it for a month. And then the winner gets
something good.
A subscription. No, you don't want to tell them?
No, don't tell them nothing.
Okay. Well, come on. It's fun to tell them. And it's great for business for our friends.
I will. Yeah, all right. You'll get a subscription to RotoWire. Okay?
Yes, before the prep for the fantasy baseball season starts, you'll get
that's right.
You'll get a free subscription for the RotoWire season. Yeah. We get ours paid. Jeff Erickson is the owner of RotoWire, and he gives Lenny a free subscription every year.
What are you telling me that for?
Because I think it's just great to let him know that it's a great way. But we love it. We use it more than anything.
Jeff Erickson,
he hates it when I tell you that too.
Is the number one mensch in fantasy. You know what a mensch is?
It's like
It's a
genius.
good guy.
Yeah.
Good guy. Jeff Erickson is the best in the business, and it's not even close, okay? And that's including me. Okay?
Yes, yes.
All right, so
Are
anyway.
you a Minch? Minch?
We got to say good morning to Bobby Kleinow.
Kleinow family.
Chris Gallo, Dad's a Premier, James Caplion, Laura, Leonard Donaldson.
Good morning to Noah Jack.
Mal Pal is in the audience. Nice to see the great Mal Pal from San Diego, SM King Turd. And look out, here we come. Now, the Atlanta Braves polished off their second consecutive win.
Guest Kamala, dude. We have guest Kamala.
Who?
Okay. Can you believe it? Guest Kamala.
Who's that?
It's just a guest. I don't know why the chat room named it Kamala. It's too funny.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, we still like you.
I lost my concentration.
All right. The Braves just polished up. The Braves, I said before the Braves were going to have a good month of September.
And they've got a lot
they
of
started
injuries, too.
so bad.
Yeah.
But they really, dude. There's 4 teams for 3 spots. You have the Mets, the Dodgers, and the Braves, all within 2 games of each other. This final 2 weeks is going to be something to behold.
It's going to be fantastic, and this is what baseball does, especially this year. In the years where the pennants are already clinched, it's not that much fun. But this year, something special. So let's enjoy it, pay attention. If anybody has any questions about anything, 631. Anybody writing this down?
I know why Pesky Dodgers is sleeping in.
Because she's from L.A.
and he's pretty upset about the Dodgers.
Yeah, pretty upset.
Losing 10-1, and they might... Look, man, they're still vying for a playoff spot. Padres are about to catch them.
Well, Atlanta has more key injuries than any team in baseball, but they just won't go away.
Right.
You got to give them a lot of credit. Injuries to the pitching staff, injuries all around, and yet they're going to be pretty dangerous, comes October.
So I'll tell you, since the break, let's just go ahead and give you this about the pesky Dodgers. The Padres, who slashed their payroll by $90 million, they're 3.5 games behind the Dodgers, who spent $1.4 billion last winter. And the NL West race is still up for grabs. And I'll tell you what, man, if those Padres miraculously beat the Dodgers, then Jackson Merrill has to be the Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, well,
there's just no... Yeah. There's no valid reason to give it to someone else.
I would think so. But everybody talks about the Dodgers and their depleted pitching staff based on injuries.
They're $1.4 billion money spending.
They're just spending. I mean, the pitching staff. They've got Gavin Stone on the injured list. They got Kershaw, Glasnow. We'll talk a little bit more about him coming up. He's not going to pitch the rest of the year. Tony Gonsolin, Emmett Sheehan, Dustin May. Look out. And they left with a pitching staff of...
That sucks.
Landon Knack, Bobby Miller. Landon Knack. Give me a break.
Hello, Mal Palentina.
But then you take a look at... at Atlanta.
And they never go away no matter how bad they are.
And we're forgetting Ozzie Albies, Austin Riley,
Jorge Soler,
Ronald Acuna,
Olsen.
Yeah, it's been tough.
And they have 2 of the best pitchers in the baseball. Their pitching is depleted as well with Reynaldo Lopez and Strider both injured.
Exactly.
But they have Chris Sale, Max Fried, and Morton. Okay, those are the 3 that they... And Morton, he's not flashy anymore, but he's pretty clutch. He's just an old veteran that just keeps getting it done. Okay?
Kind of reminds you of who? Stardog or Lenny Melnick?
How's those Kansas City Royals, Stardog? How are
Paul is here. Good morning, Boston
We
Paul.
talked about yesterday that the Marlins have used more players this year than any team in MLB history.
Yeah.
70 players.
70 players have been used by the Marlins. That's pretty incredible.
Well, let's talk about those White Sox. Wait a second. Where's the Hulkster?
The Mets and the Braves are tied for the 3rd wild card.
Yes, and I already talked about the Padres.
And the Padres, who's slashing their payroll. And what you saying? Something about the White Sox?
The White Sox, okay, they continue to defy the imagination, and not in a good way, right, Noah Jack? They blew a 6-3 lead in the 9th inning at home against
Oakland, and Oakland has been eliminated from the playoffs.
Yeah, but they still have a decent slew of hitters over there that are underrated. Okay.
You say Oakland is underrated?
Well, no, but they're hitters. They've been good. We already talked about it. We got all the prices that they've earned for the year. We're talking about some guys that just nobody really knew about, but Brett Rooker is doing good. Anyway, I'm going to the Rockies game, okay, on the 26th, okay, this month. I'm going to the Rockies game.
What day is that?
It's on a Thursday at 1 p.m.
Okay, good.
I'm going with my best friend who I grew up with, Rachel, okay?
Terrific.
Today's her birthday, by the way. So happy birthday,
Rachel.
She's 2 days younger than me. She
That's
always
great.
is going to... When we were kids, it was always like... It was cooler to be the older one, because I turned 16 first, and I turned 21 first, and now it's the opposite. Yep. Now I'm stuck being the older one for the rest of our lives, and old is not good anymore, Leonard. All right, Colorado Rockies.
Whoa.
They came back. They've been winning lately.
Tommy Johnston is here. Good morning, Tommy.
They've been doing stuff that has been just putting a crowbar in people's tires with the Rockies. Anyway, they basically eliminated the Cubs yesterday. Even though, not mathematically, the Cubs could still make the playoffs, but they beat them 6-5, and really it's pretty much over for the Cubbies, right, Unholy?
Were you one of those who thought the Cubs would be serious contenders?
Yes, I did.
Yes, it was you.
I always liked the Cubs because they are sneaky good, and Bellinger was signed over there. Plus, they have that Justin Steele, who I really like. But they just haven't pulled it together. Okay?
I know. I was a big Cubby myself, thinking that it's the time. The Cubs appeared to be trying, and that to me tells you a lot. Well, look, they're in trouble. Mike Troutman is in the outfield.
I mean, it's a fun place to go watch a game.
Nick Madrigal's on the injured list, but Ian Happ has been a very underrated fantasy player. Nico Horner he's yet to have his great fantasy
I love Dansby.
You like Pete Crow?
You know I love Dansby.
You like Dansby,
yes,
right?
And I like Bellinger, and I like Seiya Suzuki. I mean, these guys are good hitters, okay?
And the pitching staff's pretty good. Imanaga.
Not when it still has Kyle Hendricks in the mix, dude. Well, that's not a good pitching.
Jordan Wicks, Javier Assad, Jameson Taillon.
Look at Noah Jack and Teddy Ray, just the most handsome family ever.
The handsome people.
Just living the dream over there, Bobby. We love it. Noah Jack, I hope you got some money from the Tooth Fairy, dude.
I thought I was living the dream.
Well, you're living the dream too, but your family's already old, so it doesn't matter. These kids are too cute, and they're just, Noah Jack, he does karate.
Yeah.
And he's already... I think he's up to his purple belt, but he's, I got to see him get it. Anyway, I've been seeing him get a lot of different belts, but look at that picture.
Look at this. Look at that. Looks like he's got my teeth.
Noah Jack and Teddy Ray. Good morning to you both.
The Cubs have lost when leading in the 8th inning. Unholy Toledo comes up with a brilliant one. The Cubs have lost when leading in the 8th inning 30 times this year.
Yeah, that's what from Unholy tells us, right? We got that tidbit.
Unholy.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Now that's a tidbit. Unbelievable. Here's another tidbit. How many of you drafted Chris Sale this year? When you remember the beginning of the draft.
We talk about this every day.
Well, it should be. Chris Sale is doing something that nobody, including me, predicted. Chris Sale leads the Major League Baseball. He's got 17 wins. He's got a 2.35 ERA. He's got 219 strikeouts. That's one pitcher leading Major League Baseball in all three categories, and that is just crazy.
The Triple Crown. 17 wins, 219 strikeouts. He might be the first pitcher in the National League.
Oh, since who?
Okay.
Who?
This is a quiz?
It's a quiz.
Here we go. Get your quiz caps on. It's time to play some trivia.
Okay. Who was the last pitcher in the National League to
get first in wins, first in ERA, and first in strikeouts?
Yes. Now, this is the kind of thing we're going to be doing. We're going to be keeping track of who gets it, okay? With just a decent closer. Yep, and all year we were thinking the Cubs were going to get a closer.
Yeah, Unholy says if they just had a decent closer, they really could be a contending team, right?
And you got one, okay.
So Leonard Donaldson wants to know what price and round sale goes. That's also added to the Genius of the Day, which is who's the last National League pitcher to finish the season first in wins, first in ERA, and first in strikeouts. And I'll tell you what, this is not that hard to figure out. Okay? Boston Paul says he'll pay, well, I don't know if he says he'll pay that, but he says that sale will go about $20.
Well,
round
yeah,
6.
once it goes to 20, for a good player with
round
a name.
6, I don't know.
With a good name. Chris Sale has that name.
I'm not ready to be risky on him, though, because you know what? As soon as you do spend $20 on Sale, his career is over.
And Chris Sale, $20, but once you go 20 on a pitcher with a name, you go 21.
Right.
That's just the way
What about Strider, though? He might be a very good discount since he's been on the injured list the whole year.
Yeah.
He was the first pitcher off the board last year, right?
So let's ask the chat room.
No, it has to be all three, okay, Turd? It has to be who was the last National League starting pitcher to finish first in ERA, first in strikeouts, and first in wins. The Triple Crown.
Right.
And Leonard Donaldson says Clemens, and it wasn't. The guy's actually still pitching. That was a big hint, right?
Yeah, still pitching.
Okay. Andrew Benintendi, I'll let you tell about Andrew Benintendi.
Wait a second. We're going to keep track of who gets these.
We're not starting until I come back from Mom's house.
I don't know, Toledo. Clayton Kershaw, the last to accomplish an incredible feat. So let's keep Clayton Kershaw. That was in 2011.
Okay.
So now, starting next week, we'll keep track of who gets it right.
Yes.
And then we got a nice prize for the winner at the end of the month.
Yes, we'll help you get prepared. What could be better than the podcast every day plus a subscription to the famous
if it's not going to be baseball, we'll give you something to talk about.
Is Sale a Hall of Famer by Chris Gallo? That's a question. So who leads the MLB?
Well, I'm going to give him an answer. I do not believe Chris Sale is Hall of Fame material. Without even looking at his numbers, Chris Sale has been a terrific pitcher, but Chris Sale is not a Hall of Fame pitcher.
Yeah.
Not at all. Now, what about Garrett Cole? Is he a Hall of Fame pitcher?
I bet just by the person... Hold on a minute.
Yeah.
James K. asked which team leads the MLB in run differential. And before I even go to look it up or before I even consider any other thing, I'm going to say the Brewers because James K. is a big Brewers guy.
Okay.
And I don't know why he would ask this question if it wasn't the Brewers. But let me go ahead and double check this because I already got it.
So is Chris Sale a Hall of Famer? I say no. Okay? I say
it is the damn Brewers, so you could tell answers by these people.
Yeah, well, who asked the question?
James K.
Also gives you the answer at the same time.
Right, because we know he's a Milwaukee guy, right?
That's correct.
Okay, so Benintendi, right? Or you want to talk about Garrett Cole?
Well, Garrett Cole, he made 15 starts against the Red Sox. That's quite a bit. But he's got
since becoming a Yankee, he's done that.
He's got a 6.06 ERA, a 1.35 WHIP, 80 hits, 53 earned runs in 78 innings, 21 home runs. Garrett Cole.
He just gets shelled by the Red Sox. Where's King Hap? Then? Okay.
I agree with Star Dog.
Yeah,
no Hall of Fame for either Sale or Cole. Absolutely right.
Welcome aboard, Rotorius. A little late is better than never.
That's right. Rotorius makes it in.
All right.
Jose Ramirez. What do you think of Jose Ramirez?
I like him. Mal Powell will have an opinion on him.
But wait a second. I think Jose Ramirez may be the least respected star in Major League Baseball. Do we know how good he is?
Well, first of all, is this guy going to have a 40-40 season?
He's going to have
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's it. He's going to have a very casual 40-40 season.
He's got 35 homers and 39 stolen base.
Yeah.
Already over 100 runs and 100 RBIs.
So
270 batting average.
Has
Holy
to be
moly.
and you're saying holy moly, but he's the most underrated player in baseball.
He still gets picked in the first round.
That's right. Well, yeah, he does, but not like he's supposed to.
He's pretty darn reliable, too.
Yeah.
You want to talk about reliable in fantasy baseball. He's pretty darn reliable.
He doesn't get the proper love at the level of awesomeness that he deserves.
Oh, my goodness. So, who to start this week? Okay, I want input from Boston Paul, Malpal, Rotori, everybody. Let's get some input on who to start this week. You got San Diego. Is Joe Musgrove a Padre still?
I think so. Would you?
Anyway, you have Joe Musgrove versus the White Sox. This seems like a pretty easy one. Or Logan Webb, who I love, versus Baltimore, who's not doing great right now, by the way.
No, Baltimore's having a little trouble.
So is the White Sox, though. I mean, if you don't throw the pitcher out there against the White Sox, who the heck are you throwing the pitcher out there against? I mean, honestly, look, I love Logan Webb, but anytime you have a pitcher going up against... Is Musgrove doing horribly? Is he? Because Rotorius says that Musgrove is killing him.
But wait a minute. White Sox Al chimes in by saying he looks for a new team.
You can't.
He can.
No.
That means, are you going to change your name? Athletic Al.
Are you going to buy a new garbage can?
Athletic Al. Royal Al. What are you going to be?
How about Red Sox Al?
What are you going to be next year?
Holy
if you're not
moly.
White Sox Al?
How are you going to give up your team? I know they're just horrible. They don't even deserve to be. I mean, they're so bad. Do they even deserve to be in major leagues? They're just an embarrassment.
And King Turd is still pushing Ryan Detmer. Reed. He's been doing it all year.
2 years now, dude.
2 years.
Turd, are you ever going to give up on Reed? Although, look, Logan Webb started the season off horrible. He always does. He starts slow every single year. But when it's all said and done, the numbers will be there for Logan Webb. And he does finish the season better. And yes, how are you going to do? You can't, I mean, that trash can is perfect. Right? I mean, he bought the trash can way before the White Sox were horrible. I'm sure he bought it as like a fashion piece for his office.
King Turd, since he hasn't pushed Detmers this year.
We still know you have a crush on him, Turd.
And by the way, come on, 631-406-7141.
Okay.
That's the number to call.
And Turd brings up a good point. These guys, they have streaks where they do good and where they don't. And you know, Reed Detmers, he has the potential to strike out so many batters, okay? He throws the ball hard. And Turd says the reason that he brings him up is because he's pitched very good since he's returned. And that's the thing. You got to take the guy that's throwing well. But the question was between Joe Musgrove, who's killing Rotorius, which means he's not pitching well, against the notoriously bad White Sox, or Logan Webb, who's pitching well against a very good Orioles team. Who do you think? Is Webb at home? Let me look at the question again.
The White Sox Al is going to continue being, he's just changing the spelling.
With Webb at home,
this
is another thing to take note of.
Yes.
Logan Webb pitches in one of the best pitchers' parks in baseball.
Mm-hmm.
If he was pitching in Baltimore, I would say that that's an easy answer to your question. You have to throw Musgrove. But he's pitching at home, and the Orioles haven't been hitting that good.
Oh.
So,
all right,
I'll take Logan. I don't know. That's a tough question. But if it was me, I'd put Logan Webb in there.
Let's throw a tough one at you, okay? Major League Baseball players this year with 35 or more home runs and 39 or more stolen bases. This year, you got Shohei Ohtani and Jose Ramirez. No problem with those two, right? Now, three others since 2006, 11, 12. Who are the three other players?
What are you talking about?
Who are the three other players with a 35 home run, 39 stolen base season?
Not just ever. The most recent ones.
Yeah, the most recent ones.
The last 5 include Ohtani and Jose Ramirez, and there's 3
and who
other
else?
ones. Only one of the guys is playing still.
Who else? You're talking about since 2006. And who are the other 3 players, okay? Now, in the future, we're giving away, a decent amount. EDLC. I don't know what that means, okay?
Ellie De La Cruz.
Ellie De La Cruz.
I don't know what it is.
That's it, okay? Boston Paul says to pay more for Strider, okay? Just a meatball Bears fan. Verlander, very interesting. Anybody still like Verlander for next year? What do you think of Verlander? He'll probably go. Now, this is my opinion, and I normally don't go this way. He's probably going to be under $10. Anybody agree with me on Verlander? Under $10 next year for Justin Verlander. Come on, Mal Powell, Leonard Donaldson, Laura. Verlander, under 10 or over 10. Okay? White Sox out, no to Verlander. Okay?
So we'll talk about Zach Eflin, okay, who used to pitch bad when he was with Tampa Bay this season.
Yeah.
110 innings, 4.09 ERA, a 1.16 WHIP, and only 7 strikeouts per 9. Since he was acquired by Baltimore, he joins the wonderful and talented Corbin Burns. 44 innings.
What's Corbin Burns famous for?
Striking out batters.
No. You asked me this morning.
I know, but I forgot the tidbit. We'll talk about it in a minute.
Most home runs? Something like that?
Most stolen bases allowed by far.
Okay.
Corbin Burns has allowed the most stolen base in baseball by far as any pitcher.
Come on, 631.
What, are you desperate to have more company besides me?
7141. No, I love having you, but I need somebody else.
Well, come on, man.
Come on, let's see if we can get some action
Since Eflin went to the Orioles in 44 innings, 2.22 ERA, a 103 WHIP, and 8.26 strikeouts per 9.
But wait a second.
So definitely been better since he joined Baltimore, okay?
Mal Powell says Verlander was huge coming into this season. I think he's done. I think Scherzer is done.
Mal Powell said he was a huge no coming into this.
He said a huge no?
Yes.
Okay, so you had Verlander done. Scherzer is... Does anybody else...
Scherzer is toast, according to Turd.
Okay, anybody agree with that? Okay.
And Leonard Donaldson says someone else will pay $10 to $12 for Verlander, but not him, okay?
That's right. So you got some big name... Is there another name pitcher... I can't think of one right now.
What about DeGrom? What's he going to go?
That's a good one. Jake DeGrom.
Who I think is going to be... I'm trying to target him all over the place next year.
Has he reached his peak? What do you think Jake DeGrom's going to go for? Maybe 15. Okay?
But he is looking... this guy has never been bad. Okay? When he's healthy, that's the key point here. Which is not very reassuring, but are you willing to pay $15 for a dude that likes to get hurt so much and doesn't have to worry about... Does he have a contract coming up?
I don't know, but there are other pitchers who could be maybe not as good, a little worse, but still a lot safer.
Is DeGrom signed for an absurd amount of years, or is he going to have to play for a contract soon?
I think he's a free agent.
Well, there you go then. You know, these pitchers, they think their career might be on the line, and then they tidy it up.
That's right. Now, you talked about Zach Eflin, and that was pretty good comments that you made about Eflin.
Okay,
who's been
well,
a much better
I'm sure
pitcher.
Boston Paul loves it because it helped him win the league.
Much better pitcher in Baltimore.
So the Twins recently welcomed a pair of key players back from the injured list.
And I love this. I love these key players that you're going to talk about.
They're difference makers if they're healthy.
There is nobody in Major League Baseball that's on the same page as this next player.
Buxton?
That's right.
Byron. I keep drafting him because of his name.
You mention his name, and all of a sudden...
It just has a ring to it.
The eyes light up.
Byron Buxton.
Byron Buxton. Oh, Byron Buxton. He's awful. Okay?
No, I guess he's been awful, but he's an exciting player to watch.
Awful.
And another guy that could be decent if he didn't have plantar fasciitis all the time is Carlos Correa.
And he's becoming Byron Buxton.
Carlos Correa, right?
Yeah.
Has had a better season than Buxton.
Oh, Buxton hasn't had anything. He was activated in advance of yesterday's game. He's missed the past month with a hip injury.
And Correa, and I'll tell you what, the plantar fasciitis does not go away ever. It just quiets down.
How long has Correa been out? 2
months.
Oh boy!
Because of that. Anyway, it's a relief for Twins fans, and Correa's been having a good year when he's healthy, and Buxton actually hasn't been that bad either. He's got a 142 weighted runs created plus, which is much better than just the average of 100 that normal everyday players have. So let's talk about the Brewers, Jackson Chourio. I have to say that so I could knock it into my brain that this guy is not an Orioles.
Well, no, he's not.
He's a Brewer.
And he's a rookie, right?
And he's a youngster, 19.
Yeah. 81 games since the start of June. He's batting .305. So this kid is the... he's coming on.
Buxton is the annual fantasy baseball trap.
Yeah, but he's the first player in history of Major League Baseball with 20 or more homers, 20 or more stolen bases in a season at age 20 or younger.
And, Trout and Veda Pinson.
That's right.
They each did it, but they were already 20 by the time they accomplished it. And I'll tell you what, Jackson Chourio, the youngest guy to ever do that, okay?
And we talked about Ramirez being the most underrated star in Major League Baseball. All right, let me give you another.
This is why I love the chat room. Let me tell you why.
Go ahead.
Because I ask a question that is a good question, but I can't look it up right now. And one of our fabulous chat room guys, he went and looked up DeGrom's contract to see if he's playing for his career. And it says that he is signed through 2027, and with a club option for 2028, he's getting paid $37 to $40 million a year. And the thing is, once he gets to that club option, you can imagine he's going to be pitching like a madman. Because unless he wants to, he's getting old. So I don't know. He's not playing for a contract now. And Turd, he says Glass now and DeGrom can't be drafted for much more than 120 innings in fantasy. But those innings are going to be good.
Now, pay attention. We've got only a couple of minutes left. 6-3-1.
What is your problem?
I want to take calls. I love it when the people in the chat room wake up and call the show.
Well, Leonard.
Write it in the chat room. 40631.
You hate me.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Only at times, though. Not all the time.
Okay, well, I'm glad that sometimes you like me.
Why do I feel like I have to tell you the phone number?
I have no idea, but let's get back to our tidbits.
Yes, go ahead.
Willie Adames hit 2 home runs the other night. Was it yesterday? This guy is in the news every day.
Yeah, I know.
He set a new career high in home runs, 32 homers on the season. He went 3 for 3 yesterday, 2 home runs, 5 runs driven in, and a walk yesterday when they beat the Diamondbacks, okay? They beat the Diamondbacks 15-8, and by the way, he had gone only 2 for 17 over his previous 5 games. But he did break the slump in a big way Saturday. And just because he had a slump of 5 games, we've been talking about this guy lately as a decent fantasy catch and he must have had a good year, set a new career high in homers. All right. And he is batting .250 with a decent on-base percentage, .334 in 148 games, which means he's played damn near every game. And he's added personal bests in stolen bases, 107 RBIs, and runs scored 87.
Well, I just, before we say goodnight, let me just thank Bobby Kleinow.
We love it.
Chris Gallo, James Caplion, Leonard Donaldson, Laura, Malpal,
Noah Jack, Teddy Ray,
Rotorius, Tina, SM King Third, Tommy
Mary.
Johnson, Mary, Triple Plague. I always miss you. Unholy Toledo, White Sack Al, Boston Paul.
And Scooter and Aubrey.
I gotta
and
tell
Tilly.
you. Were you kidding me? Who are we talking to?
Rudy.
And Rudy.
I wish I remember the other name. There's 5 dogs, and I can only remember
We're talking
4
about
names.
we're the only show in the history of radio
They listen. What are you going to do?
that talks to the dogs.
They listen
okay?
to the show.
Rotoria says, my favorite part of the day. It's and you know something?
It is mindless
No,
fun, and it's wonderful.
Triple Play just snuck in. We have started this thing for information and whatever. It's turned out that with all the stuff going on in the world today, you can come into our chat room and escape. You really do shut your ears and you don't listen to anything. You escape all the turmoil that's waiting for you outside. Okay? So everybody, Tommy Johnson, great show. Thank you, Bobby Kleinow. We really appreciate you guys. Tremendous. Any questions?
Well, Leonard Donaldson wanted to know how my dinner was last night.
Oh, really?
Do you know how much I loved it?
Andy went out with my son Mark and his girlfriend. How about that, right? And the daddy stayed home.
Well, it's not because you're not invited.
No, I'm invited, but I don't know.
You just don't like going there and eating a big steak.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
Anyways, we just had a fabulous time, okay? Just couldn't even ask for a better time. It was too good.
And I'll tell you what, you guys...
The kids brought sunflowers over, my favorite flowers. They brought me that.
You guys and girls in the chat room, we love you. And we really appreciate your support because that's what it's all about. Any final questions before we pack
What about
up?
what, you don't want to talk about the Guardians?
Go ahead.
They're dealing with injury scares, okay? Because they have their manager, Stephen Vogt, says that Stephen Kwan has been out of the lineup in recent days due to what he described as back soreness, all right? Now, that diagnosis, it seems pretty benign, but it is somewhat concerning that Vogt added Kwan, all right? That Vogt... Stephen Vogt, it's so weird to speak about him as a manager, but Stephen Vogt's the manager. He also said that Kwan has been sent for testing to determine the severity of the issue. And it's impossible for the Guardians to miss the playoffs at this point. But you better be prepared if you have this Stephen Kwan on your team in fantasy, because the fact that these Cleveland Guardians are going to make the playoffs pretty much no matter what, it tells me that they're going to be very cautious with this kid. Kwan.
Yep.
Okay, so if you have him in your fantasy team, you might want to just rest him for the rest of the season because it might happen that way because they're going to make it to the playoffs and they don't need him.
I don't think I answered my question from before. It basically was the last 5 major league players who hit 35 or more home runs and 35 stolen bases.
Yes, the last 5 guys that did it.
In a season. Now, this 2024, Ohtani and Ramirez.
Yep.
And then in the prior years, you had Matt Kemp in 2000.
Matt Kemp in 2011.
Alfonso Soriano, 2006.
And we have one more piece of info.
Ronald Acuna. Now, wait a second. How many people think if Alfonso Soriano, now you're going to have to may have to take a look at this, stayed as a second baseman, he would be a Hall of Famer? Take a look at Soriano's stats, and you tell me if he was a second baseman. I don't know of any other player who would fall into this, but if Soriano was, could you punch up Soriano's, see what his career
Yes,
stats
I
are?
will do that. But I want to also tell you about a great Mets call-up yesterday, okay?
Yes, let's talk about a great Mets call-up in a minute.
Luis Angel.
Oh, Luis Angel.
Acuna. He got called up yesterday.
I know
it's a big ding deal. It's a big deal for us Mets fans, right,
I've been
Laura?
talking about it for
right, Bobby Kleinow?
What's the answer to my question?
I'm looking it up.
What are you doing?
I'm looking it up.
What are you looking up?
Alfonso Soriano's numbers. You want to know if he's a Hall of Famer?
Yes, Alfonso Soriano.
Well, it's going to take me a second.
Oh, I could have done it 10 times.
Well, then do it. Then.
I will do it.
Do it, you jerk.
Gee whiz.
I'm busy talking about the Mets, and it means more to me than what you're talking about.
Well, I'm sorry. What means more to me is having a good show. Is that possible? All right, a good show.
Yes, when you don't be...
All right, just relax. All right, who are we talking about? Soriano?
Oh, God.
I forget who
Fangraphs is so bad.
Well, don't go there.
You have to, because he's not playing anymore.
All right, Soriano.
All right, I'm looking him up. Stop yelling at me.
I'll look him up.
I got him. Just you have to wait for it to go through.
Gee whiz, what computer are you using?
What do you want to know?
His stats.
His career stats.
Yeah.
Okay, for home runs, he has 412. For RBIs.
Hold it. That's Hall of Fame material. Next.
1159 RBIs.
Okay, next. Batting average.
270.
Okay, it's adequate.
Stolen bases, 289.
That's Hall of Fame.
Well, what else do you want to know?
As a second baseman, Alfonso Soriano would be a Hall of Famer.
He has a 39 WAR.
Yeah, you move him out of second base, as the teams have done.
He played in 1,975 games.
Alfonso Soriano. So etch that in your kitchen table. Anything else you want to talk about?
No, not with you.
You said there were other things on your mind.
Luis Angel.
Yeah, okay.
Acuna.
Tell me about Luis Angel.
He came up from AAA Syracuse.
Okay.
He's Acuna's Ronald's brother.
Right.
That's it.
And who was the first one to talk about it?
He had a 654 OPS at AAA. Okay. And he's probably not going to make an immediate impact, but he could. And the Mets certainly have a reason to believe that they have a chance to continue, playing. Okay. And so, anyways, I don't think he's allowed to be in the playoffs, even if they do make it, because we'll don't you have to be called up before September 1st to make it? Either way, he's 22, and he's going to take the place of DJ Stewart and give the Mets some security because they have Lindor now dealing with the back injury. Yeah. He's the 12th ranked prospect in MLB. He had 40 stolen bases this year at 131 games. And I'll tell you what else. Mets pitcher Paul Blackburn has a spinal fluid leak in his back.
Who cares about Blackburn?
Well, I care about the Mets.
Okay.
And there's a lot of friends in the chat room that like the Mets, too.
And meanwhile, upward and onward we go. If anybody needs us anytime, 631-406-7141. Okay. We'll answer your questions. We'll give you a second opinion. Okay. Whatever you want to know. And we thank you for your support. And we'll be back. We're not ending. We're going all year round, and you'll be surprised at the baseball stuff that we produce every year at this time. It's going to be fantastic.
And a special thanks to the Kleinau family with Crystal, Shay, Noah Jack, Teddy Ray, Bobby Kleinau, and...
What does he send you?
And even Paulie Kleinau.
Well, what does he send you for all this
I just like him.
All right, and we'll see you tomorrow, everybody.
Okay, bye.
Thank you.